message and the lesson from that first game, and especially in the first quarter, really tried to emphasize slowing down the Magic in transition. What did you see out of them?
Yeah, they got a couple real early, and I think sometimes when you feel that and it hurts you, it's really more mental than anything. It's just being able to react and have urgency. But as the game went on, as you said, you did a much better job not giving up easy baskets. Rebounding the ball pretty well as well. A lot of second shots.
Obviously, basketball is a game of runs as well, but there was that stretch in the fourth 12-hole run. Asa had his first bucket. Just what was really working for the offense at that point to me?
Well, I think more than anything, Asa, Mo, Keaton, Pete, those guys, they put time in. They're there early. Our coaching staff just does a great job of teaching. They're competing too, and I think that's been, they compete. That's the biggest thing. So Asa didn't think. That's a shot. He's in here and take that shot, and then he waited for a while. And he took it. And same thing with Mo. And I think it's telling that they both got their shots, because that means their teammates had confidence in it as well, and that gives you confidence.
What did you see with Trey? I think he scored his 11 points in the final 6 minutes, his 11 fourth quarter points in the final 6 minutes.
Yeah, I thought early, this is a game where he's just pressured the whole game, and I thought he really kept his composure throughout the course of the game. He was running in transition. I thought there was times we could throw ahead to him, and he's committed to that. And then I think when the game, that last 6 minutes, as you said, he's in a position where that's time for him to really exert himself. And I love that he drove the ball too. We got in the lane, made a floater, we got fouled, and I thought he managed the game as well as I've seen him manage a game late. Just directing people where to go. Our guys were listening to. They were trying to get certain matchups, and they were changing matchups, and the poise that Trey showed, in addition to the production as well. I think you saw that because of his poise. And even when Suggs is one of the best defenders in the league, we got off the ball. He used himself as a screener. That's something we talked a lot about. So that recognition to me was also really important.
Is this kind of what you talked about preseason, some of the elements of having him play off ball, but then, and some games, some nights he has to pass, some nights he has to score. He kind of did all of those things tonight.
Yeah, I think as much as anything, it's less about what night as it is about what's happening during the course of the game. That's not being evaluating yourself on whether you're scoring early. Continue. That's why I'm saying we need to make sure and throw ahead to him, because he's so gifted in the open court. But also, if we don't throw ahead to him, for him to keep running and stay locked in. And the game, Suggs came in and picked him up 90 feet, and so he adjusted to that. Thought the other guys adjusted to that as well. But the game presented a lot of things that within one game. They were switching, 1 through 5 in pick and roll. We saw multiple pick and roll coverages tonight. And that dictates a lot of things that have to happen. His understanding of those things, he's a smart player. And I think a big part of that tonight is more than him just reading the situation and thinking, he was talking to his teammates. And that's just the understanding that, he needs help in those situations. And then guys being alert and trying to execute it those times. It was good.
You held them to 30% shooting in the fourth quarter, 0 of 8 from 3. Just what did you like about how your defense stepped up to force those kind of tough looks for them?
Yeah, talk about competitive endurance, and those are the times that it's most important. And I thought we had some really good possessions where, even though they got looks, they had to work to get them. And, you're fortunate when the ball doesn't go in, but I do think that, we were connected on the defensive end. There was a collective kind of determination, and we were competing. And it's good to see. That's foundational. That's as much as we talk about, running, passing, and those things. It's great, but when you defend, you give yourself a chance to win, and when you don't, it gets really hard.
These last few weeks, we talked about Jaylen's commitment to defending. Those last 5.5 minutes, he's playing with those 5 fouls, but he still has the discipline to not pick up that last one. Just what have you liked about that?
Yeah, even before then, I thought he did an excellent job keeping his composure. You're going to have calls that don't go your way, or marginal. A lot of times those things can break your concentration, and that didn't happen. And he took a lot of pride. I think, and that's something that we don't defend the way we did the last quarter, last 5 minutes. That Jaylen doesn't do that. And there's a lot of ways that players can move the needle and help win games. And sometimes we think a lot about making a shot or making a play offensively. And just having that commitment and throwing yourself into that and taking pride in the fact that those possessions win games too. It's a mature approach to the game.
Sorry, Quinn.
No.
That last possession for Orlando you defended, were you kind of expecting Bane to, they were going to draw something up with Bane to shoot the 3?
Yeah, I thought, we got longer and bigger, and I just thought we did a good job. They have multiple weapons on the floor. And you're guessing a little bit, but you felt like everybody had a guard. And securing the rebound again. I mentioned that play that Mo gave me. I thought we had a timeout on the first one. We lost it. We dove again and got it. So usually those late game situations, as you said, if they're running people off screens or playing pick and roll, you need everybody to be dialed in to not break them.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.